And there are two other ones that are important, have become important to my work. One is myofascial release in the John Barnes style of myofascial release. And then the other one is zero balancing. And just briefly, why I valued those and started to incorporate them into my body work. For the myofascial release, what I really like is it's a very different way of working than in instructional integration. The work is a little bit more direct. There's more pressure, definitely within the range of tolerance, but it's sort of a direct application of pressure either into the trigger points within the muscles or mechanically sort of opening the connective tissue around big muscle groups or at the ligaments and tendons and things like that. In myofascial release, it is a slower way of working, but slower doesn't mean less deep. Because what MFR is really doing is creating stretches. So you use your hands. It's called a cross-hand release, where you're engaging the connective tissue in one side of a muscle group, for example, and then you're engaging the tissue in another. And then you're creating a sustained hold, usually for 3 minutes or longer, engaging one particular position. That could be anywhere on the body, within the abdomen, on the legs, in the arms, across the rib cage, around the throat, in the face, in the skull. So, and so you are setting up, so in an hour session, you might only be doing 5 or 6 placements of where your hands are, but you're holding them for a very long time. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes longer. And what's interesting with this slow approach is that if you have to sort of develop a certain kind of patience, but if you do, very often that there'll be sort of stages of release where you might be hanging out with nothing much happening for about 2-3 minutes, and suddenly you feel a lengthening of the tissue, or the breath changes, or they start to get attuned to some new sensation or even some kind of emotional experience or something like that. And so that approach I really valued as that sometimes a good way to work with the tissue is that direct approach that we do through structural integration, but having the tool of an indirect approach or a slower approach really was useful.